Carry on, please.
Okay, there's a question here from Antonio. And we have Salome with a hand up. So Antonio's question is, good morning, Mr. Keshe. My question is, in nature, everything tries to create a balance. So when the stronger virus gives to the plasma and depletes itself, is there then a balance of equal strength between the two? Or does the virus become then weaker than the plasma? I'm trying to understand if the balance is of equal strength, and therefore our body can now heal itself.
The balance is equal, trying to reach equality, balance. And in that process, the amino acid of the body of the man will take its position to be balanced even with the virus energy. This is the beauty of it, because then he uses that energy virus as a food. This is something which we explained from the beginning. And the beauty with this, we had a case very recently, in the past 24 hours. One of our senior diplomats was stuck in the third world nation, what we call it, what in Africa. And he's been there for over a week, 10 days, something in that region, over a week. And with the help of the knowledge seekers in Africa, thanks to all of them, we collaborated very closely, and we managed to get the Ganses two pilots actually carrying it as a mission for the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers from 2 different nations across Africa to where we wanted it. The pilots of the country became the transporters of the Ganses and the cups. And it arrived. And the gentleman was tested 9 hours, more or less, after arrival of the material in his hand by the government. And it's become clear where he was critical condition. This is how we saw international collaboration to Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers. And it was beautiful to see how officials and airlines, where they don't carry nothing illegal to carry, carried Ganses in big bottles and equipment to be reaching to another man who was suffering from corona and he could have died, to a third world nation, the third nation destination, where he is even a diplomat there. He's not even a native. And we managed to save a lot of headache and a lot of things, and hopefully he'll be returning back to his nation today or tomorrow. And it was amazing to see what he was locked down in a hotel room. He, by testing that he was even had all the signs of it, he was free within hours from all the symptoms. He said, my lung, it looks like an ice in it. I can breathe again. I can live again. And I was explaining to him, because he's a professor, I was trying to explain to him in a scientific way that how the system works. But he said, this is magic. I said, soon all these units will be available in Iranian embassies across the planet. Anybody can walk into Iranian embassy and ask help. And this is one of our first missions in going back. And in a way, we saw a beautiful collaboration. When we said in Iran, during the Corona time, taxi drivers, lorry drivers were taking Ganses to people. We saw pilots from airlines from 2 different nations carrying, because they knew what they carry saves life. And most probably themselves knew many people who are affected. And it balanced the energy, and it became energy. It says, I don't know where the energy came from. I become more powerful. I have more strength. And this is the way it works. It balances it. And in a way, I would like to thank the knowledge seekers who even cross one nation to another to make sure it can get a flight to get done. They have endeavored to help another man. They don't know him. They don't have a clue who he is. A very high-ranking diplomat. But the request of the nation we supported, and the knowledge seekers we saved their life. And it's beautiful to see it, how we become changing even international positions of pilots carrying material personally with the instruction of their airlines to another destination to save life of man from corona. And this is another achievement when you serve a nation as one nation. I was thinking past 2 or 3 days how easy mankind can bend the rules when it comes to help each other. And for international pilots to carry it not in a cargo, but in their cabins, to take these across to save another man's life. I thank all the knowledge seekers who helped us with this venture in the past week. And in a way, it has been a sign of how much and how far the knowledge touches the soul of people in doing things, and how one of the knowledge seekers moved from one country to another to meet a flight, to be able to get it there. I thank all the knowledge seekers in facilitating and delivering such a rapid response in saving a life. Yes, it saves, it balances energy, and the energy, when it's balanced, is available, because to be balanced one needs to be another, and the cell is in between the gans and the virus, and it uses it as an energy because it's its own balanced field. And this is why we see rapid recoveries with knowledge seekers, because the field balance has become food, is already digested energy within the body, and it becomes part of what we call recovery. You have already absorbed the energy in. Now your body uses it instead of wasting it for the recovery, because it will be fields in the strength of the body itself.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have Salamia, the hand up here, and Marina is next as well. Go ahead, Salamia.
Okay, I was muted. I unmute now. Hello, Mr. Keshe. So nice, and I'm happy that you will reach our common goal through Iranian teaching, to teach scientists and diplomats. My question was related to this. May I also participate? I was trained as a diplomat, but I'm not working with the Ministry of External Affairs in my country. I'm working with Ministry of Finance, and I choose to teach people about international affairs and politics. And I am a researcher in the international relation field. And second question is about the content and how we can create a balance at international level to democratize this actual geo-governance, which is not democratical at all, is an alliance between multinational and on all security and national defense alliance as NATO, just put all material capabilities to defend the global capital and not the human values and human common values and goods, and to defend our common soul, our well-being as a human being, just to abuse our human nature. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you very much for offering your services. Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers who are with us, who've been what we call been advised to join us, we have already completed our what we call group to return to Iran. We return as a group of 10 to Iran, and we have people who are in position for a specific application and what we call implications of technology in different fields. And hopefully soon we will be gathered from different nations in Tehran as Keshe Foundation. And regarding the diplomacy and diplomatic levels of what these people do, we do not respond to this because this is the old way. This is how it used to be done. And in a way, diplomacy, the way you see it, you've been brought up, has no room in the present cycle of the understanding of the work of the Keshe Foundation. We do not see playing diplomacy, we're playing technology, science. And diplomats are always being as part of the structure of the what we call scientific work. An American diplomat has power as long as America has a nuclear power and it's only the only nation who can dictate it. When we bring a balanced knowledge and technology to all nations, diplomats have not that much value, except humanitarian, because there is no what we call superiority in respect to knowledge to another that it makes you to be a power or a superpower. We become all equal power. I'm not a, what you call, a dreamer. I know what my technology can deliver, and we know what we have got ourselves as an organization into, and how we will deliver and develop this fields of talk and teaching. The old diplomacy at the moment has value as long as you call yourself superpower and you can impose. With sharing the knowledge and the new way which will take shape in our negotiations, even with a 5+1, we're walking away from this situation. The 5+1, as I said, as a diplomacy, because somebody has access to some banks and some has access to some powers which now they're useless, and they call themselves a superior power. Nobody in the new understanding is superior to that, and this is the beauty of it. And they can do whatever they like. Even if we come to the point of understanding the totality, we still need to understand we're all equal. And this will be very, very hard for those nations who have colonized, who have abused the others. That's the only problem. And when it comes to the financial affairs, when they see their interest in danger, they're all unified. We've seen in the past 2-3 weeks, and G7 and then now G20 have agreed that all the leading companies who've been avoiding taxes, becoming richer and richer, like multinationals we've seen, now they are minimum taxed 15% at the nation of the resources created, which now means all the wealth of, let's say, company X does not go to one nation, and then after taxation, everything, they get benefit by it. Now all the multinationals a list of them has been created and accepted by G7 and G20 now, are taxed as whatever they earn in that country at 15%, which means they pay minimum taxes, which allows, for example, Amazon, who sells goods in your country and then takes all the benefits to the United States, is over. They have to pay 15 taxes what they've sold in your country to your country as taxation, which now it brings a share balance. And one of the first steps of the unification of the resources by application of the dimension of delivery at point. You don't pay to Google, ship goods to your country, and then the benefit of it all goes to X country with zero taxes. Whatever shipped from your country, what you pay from your country, 15% has to be paid to your nation. And we will see more of this. And diplomacy through the power of guns, as it goes away, becomes through financial resources. And this is international diplomacy, the way we see it in the next 5 or 10 years, the way it's been by superiority through colonization or gun policy is a little bit long over. So we have no guns to do, and we have no superiority because we all benefit by the same knowledge and same technology. This is not a scientific evolution or revolution. This is a humanitarian, scientific evolution, which means with it, we brings balance in humanitarian levels of living as much as the science and technology. It takes time for governments not to be called the superpowers, but a government. And then it takes time for those who colonize and abuse to learn they have no more income from their abuse. But don't forget, they have paid so many people and they have created so many servants. That's why you will find out those servants will become the first passengers of the earth. We don't put people in prison. We use them for the knowledge to become the ambassadors in the world. I want to see how much bribes and bank accounts they open on planet Mars, and would the Martians have any value for their currency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Marinette next with her hand up here. From Jukli. It's a GANs and nano question about, it's worried about the nano coating coming off from the copper coil and mixing with the GANs and floating in the plasma water. Is there a possibility of being ingested? And if so, when you have problems with that? I was in the process of answering that I've never seen black pieces floating on the water. I've never heard of that before. And if the copper nano falls off, he was calling it graphene, but it's not graphene so far as I know. It's the copper nano. If it falls off, then it goes to the bottom and would not be ingested, as it would be part of the GANs material that doesn't get ingested anyway. I think you mentioned about that before, Mr. Keshe, but could you clarify anything about that, or do you wish to?
We have seen nanomaterial at the bottom, but if it comes from the copper, it's a copper GANs. So there is something has happened during your nano coating, which you have created the loose layers. So during the process that your voltage changes from positive to negative, where your nano layer becomes a feeder. And this allows your nano layers to disappear or to come off, because your nanolayer always has to be on the negative side, which pulls power to it. And maybe you have created a condition in your system that it fluctuates between negative and positive. So you have to find out what you've done, where you've done it, and correct it. But it happens if your polarity changes during the operation. We've seen this before. And in the way that the field goes from your nano layer to non-nano layer, and with it will take the materials, because it's the copper atoms which separate at the non-nano coated level, but the nano layers are on top of it. So as they try to get out through the space gap, they loosen the nano layer and they drop off. You actually collect nano layers of copper at the bottom. Should not be used or digested. The South Korean corporation uses this for production of the nano gold layers for electronic developments of what we call transistors. We know of them, we have collaborated with them before. You nano coat a plate, then you reverse current, and the nano layer just comes off in one go. Now you have a nano, this is how we produce nano sheets. Nano sheets becomes for electronic now, which Keshe Foundation has been part of the operation in the background, is the way we produce it. It's very technical, you cannot do it with a normal way, but you nano coat a large sheet, and then you put in a specific plasma chamber of gases. Then you introduce a specific current, and the whole nano sheet moves away from the copper plate. It's a production technology, and it cannot be done so easy. It needs a specific conditions. But it was developed by us years ago, this. So in a way, part of your process has reverse electric current into it. Another question. You see, when you don't have patents, you can teach the knowledge, even the technology development, very easily.
We have a question in the YouTube from God's Eye View. Question: in one of the workshops, Mr. Keshe mentioned that most stars are the reflections of one another. What are the stars reflecting off of, and what is the purpose of that object or surface? Thanks.
What we see as reflection is well known in the cosmological world, that not all the stars are real stars, they're reflection. And it happens usually on outside interaction with the fields of galaxies. The way we have the atmosphere around Earth, and in certain condition, in certain part of this planet, especially like in a specific place in Russia, you can go and see, call it the rise of three suns. You see three suns at the same time, and you don't know which one is the real sun, and always the middle one is the real one, the other two are reflection of upper atmosphere, and happens on a specific angle. And this happens when you see it even over our solar system. Some of the stars we see are reflection of another star and create another condition. And even our cosmologists create different combination from it without them knowing what they actually make a combination from, is the reverse process of another galaxy. I see this in some of the cosmological papers when they call such a combination of stars are given a name, but if you literally look into it, the star doesn't exist. It's a reflection of the fields on the upper atmospheric layers of the solar system or our galaxy. They appear as three, and their position is fixed because of the long duration of the motion of the galaxy in the universe or the solar system in part of the galaxy. This might take, on Earth, we see it for a few hours. The rise of three suns. Go on the internet and look for it. You learn very quickly about it. Then this happens in the universal galaxy system, and two of the stars are fake, but cosmologists don't understand it, and because they're in two different parts of the what you call our universe or horizon, they have added in a couple of cases these as like what we call the big bear and little bear and the rest of it. They have even included fake stars in these calculations because they don't see it as a star. And you see everything as is happening on the star, the original star. It's very interesting. Man will not fall for this because there are ways you can say which one is the real one and which one is the mirror effect. And knowing of fake, what we call mirage galaxies and what we call solar system is well known in the cosmological. The only way, one of the only ways they literally can say with it is if we send what we call like a specific fields to them, we don't get a return because they're not real, they go through. In the future, we'll teach a lot about this, how to assess and which one of them are and how they are. In some cases, they mimic even near to the dimension of physicality because the fields of the reflection become dimension of the field strength of the environment. Even they show themselves at the material state. It's like when you put 2 mirrors, 3 mirrors next to each other, and you look into it and you see thousands of yourselves. It's very much on those principles. But in one of the mirrors, the field strength in the plasma is the field strength of the reflection. So it takes a material state shape or dimension. It's very interesting, but in time, we will teach when you come to this to the travelers of the physical dimension. And you have the same copy, in some cases, in the dimension of the soul as a plasma transfer. You can do that. And there is got a lot of application in it. Any other question?
You've answered all the
That's
questions
good news.
in the Q&A, except there was one question that I sort of dismissed, but I'm not sure if you want to address it. There's actually a 4-part question from the Hispanic group member that has to do with 5G technology and whether it has the ability to condition an immune response similar to that of COVID. And I was talking about, I responded that these are medical questions and they're actually part of the YouTube rules that we can't really get into the medical misinformation specifically between 5G and COVID as an example. But perhaps there's some way you want to approach that. The other questions are, let me just list the questions. I suppose that would be okay. Second question is, does nanoparticles product of chemtrails type sprays to condition an immune response type to that of COVID?
We don't respond to these things. The Keshe Foundation has shown technological development in the butterfly in response to radiation fields. These butterflies are not ordinary, just what you think. They've been developed specifically to absorb high field radiations of what you call a spectrum. And you've seen it on the Keshe Foundation website. These are developed primarily for high frequency, high level of it in what we call like 5G. We use it. Now we used to use the old butterflies. We changed all to the new ones we created. And they are of a specific structure and materials and addition of the enhancement system to them. It's very simple, but we can, if you see fit to put in the house, or see fit to put on the glasses in the house, or put them opposite to each other in the house, or put on your computer or back of your telephone. These are all part of application of a new technology in supporting another advancement in technology and knowledge. As I said, we know, and we have discussed this with the Chinese, of the G8 and G9, where we can transfer energies, we can transfer medicine, we can transfer what you call digital medicine, but through plasma medicine. I was talking to a consultant in this matter in a pharmaceutical, that our company is getting set up for digital medicine, which is a major breakthrough. So we are in the process of going to 9G and G8, which is the process of the feeding, process of the medication transfer. It's not, it won't be unusual. As we've seen, people cannot go to, like Corona, to the hospitals, but they need to receive medication. And medicine as tablets is going to change. The way we got used to in past 100 years taking tablets, now digital medicine is the next part of the development. And there are organizations who are working in this dimensions, and in a way, Keshe Foundation is getting involved in it, but in the coming time. And if G8, G9 through satellites or communication line can transfer medicine or application of the fields for certain changes in the body to the doctors, your doctor in a clinic can just literally transfer what you need as a field plasma into you, and you can receive it. And this is not something it might happen, it's already in process. And there are a number of organizations who are working for development of this stage. So if that can be done, how can G5 not have or transfer certain energies to us? And we have to understand this, the evolution in science. Maybe we get a lot of things with G5, with G9, which is a combination of the food, energy, medicine, which is on the horizon. It's been discussed 2 years ago in China with us, is the eventual plasma transfer. So if that can interact and give you what you need, so G5 has the same capacities to do, and we can transfer the same kind of energies as viruses through, or would support each other or coincidentally work with each other. These are the things that the scientists have to evolve and disclose, but digital medicine is on the card and it's getting developed. My son is a consultant in this and he's just setting it up. I was talking to him very recently. He said this is the evolution in the science which is coming up. digital medicine, and they're involved with it, and they want to bring it up much faster. And Corona has brought this about. And we have the technology where digital medicine can be used in the plasma level. This is much faster and more effective. You will see that in the coming time as we get involved in it in more with the senior consultants in this field. So G5 will have an effect on our body, but what frequency of it matches what frequency of the plasma which can transfer to matter state. It's not all bad. It just depends how you want to develop it and how scientists will bring it about. According to the people who are knowledgeable, within the next 3 to 5 years, digital medicine will be as common as taking tablets and going to doctors. You don't need to see a doctor anymore in a way.
Mr. Keshe, apparently Marius is here now.
Pardon?
Apparently Marius is here now.
Ah.
In the, he's...
Thank you very much, Rick.
Mr. Keshe, there was a hand up that I should acknowledge.
You missed?
I missed. It was from Jefferson. So maybe we can allow one final quick question here too. I don't like to overlook a hand up.
Okay.
Hello, Rick, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Jefferson.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. And it's always an honor to talk to you. It's a very nice opportunity. And I'd like to bring a point about that you were saying before about the universe and the unicus are changing position slowly, but they are moving and bringing to the solar system a different push and pulls throughout the magnetic and gravitational field of them. And you've been receiving this here in our planet, inside our planet and inside ourselves. I'm just brings the knowledge that I'm trying to understand. And this positioning, is it facilitating the communication throughout the universe with the other souls, not only outside in our solar system, but as well as inside our own beautiful planet? And is this facilitating our elevation of our soul? Because I don't know if I have the wrong view, but inside of us, all of us are mitras. If you can interact with this energy that is coming from different repositioning from the universe, is that correct to think like this? I don't know.
We gain energy or we receive fields from all dimensions of the universe, not only Earth, not only from the soul of those who have been here. We have a full spectrum of abilities to receive everything from every corner of the universe. We are connected to them in one way or another. Part of we are the creator of, part of we are created out of. And so there is no, what you call limitation in, is somebody or people from this planet or from the fields of this planet or from another universe. Magnetic fields never die. And in that process, they're always divided. And if you go up the ladder, as we have explained in the teaching before, that what you call the process is very simple, and that is, if you understand it, and we explained this many times before, that if you're in this position, you are created out of the interaction of two fields somewhere. If I can do it in a different color. And this position itself is created or leads to the creation from two others, which yours is one of them. And the same will carry on. In a way, there's always another which divides itself into another position. So we are continuously divided and created out of interaction of two fields, which leads to another. In essence, if you go backwards, we all came from the Creator. This could be a field from the Earth. This could be a field from Jupiter, and this could be a field from another universe. As our plasma is what we call a spiral in the strength, any of these can fit in any part of this structure. The biggest question for knowledge seekers or for humanity is this: where did this origin came from? Which radiates the field, which in its interaction with itself and the division of itself in so many ways led to the creation of the totality of the universe. Or in a way, what we consider has the interaction of the field of itself with itself in so many ways of two different strengths of the spiral has led to what we call the original life, the original creation, which we call Mitra. In so many ways, where is the beginning and where is the end? And in so many ways, where does it start? In so many ways, mankind will reach to the point of understanding the totality of itself. And in so many ways, would mankind will ever understand this position? Did we come from interaction of two to feel the strength of the Creator, that in the interaction of it led to the creation of the first life of different stuff? But still, where did this origin came from? Because in so many ways, interaction of the fields has led to the new cycle of life, what we call process of creation. But what led, or where does the origin field comes from? And what led to interaction of the field of the origin to lead to the creation of the next cycle? But the biggest problem, or the biggest question for not only mankind, but the universal community is, if the origin was created at this position, how did it come to expand in the universe? And how come that if there is such an expansion in such a universe, where is the origin of the totality, that it gives that room for the origin of the creator to release its fields, that in interaction of the fields with each other lead to creation of a new life in what we call a new soul. Or is it from the interaction of the what is taken and what is given at different strength, that in that process a new life has been created from the interaction of the gravitational and magnetic field of the same field? And this is the biggest mystery which universal community and the universal intellect has not managed to answer it yet. And it's not only confined to comprehension of the man. And how vast is this origin here in the center that has, through its division, become the creator of the unicos? If you can manage to measure the energy of how many calories you use per day, or you get from a product, or you get from an interaction of whatever, then you put all these energies and calories together, and then put all these energies and calories as you put together in the field and dimension of the universe and unicos, and then gather what would be the totality of all the galaxies and unicoses together. That was the creator, came from the creator. This is the mystery that you have not managed to answer yet. And in any case, as we've seen the division of the interaction of, then we see the scientists telling us that the universe is so many billions of years or trillions of years old. Then, do we have enough knowledge to put the age limit on the creator, as our universe is part of a unicos down the ladder of the creation? Where did the next cycle started from, that its interaction or reduction has led to creation of our universe? And then, as I said, the question comes, how much has it been at the beginning within the creator, that after creation of all these unicos, universe, and then galaxies, and then few bits of energies, which become the cell of the body of the man, in total has been? What is the field within center of our creator? But where has it come from to become the creator? The origin of the field, the origin of the creation, which led to the creation of the creator. How much do we know? And how much do we want to expand the knowledge? In the framework of the religion, we have no answer. In the frame of science, we can find some answers which answers the questions within the religions and the faith. But still, mankind does not have the answer. We call it God, we call it every other name we want. And we are, as an individual, a speck of dust of a dust. Then how big is the totality that as a speck we are here as a human being full time? What is the energy embedded within the creator that is that creation of the universe? And as I said, if it is the creator to the limit of understanding of the man, then what's the space is given? And if it's space given, must be another dimension of the creation within it that has created that space. Then it comes to the origin of the creation. what we call the creator of the creators. Then do we call that the creator, which is led to the speck of dust of it, to what we up to now consider to be the creator? Or do we call the creator the origin? But where does it come from? To possess so much, and this division, billions and trillions of stars can be created in one spot. And we are connected to all of it. Thank you very much for today. One day we'll answer this question, when the humanity is ready to understand totality. Thank you very much, Rick. See you next week.
Very good.
Mr.
Thank you,
Keshe.
Mr.
Thank you.
Keshe.
Good day.
It's time for change.
Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata.
And it's time to
I
understand
nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii,
to reach
by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka.
of the soul of the man. Now you understand, maybe
Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator
Creator has sent his messengers
wysłał swoich posłańców
whatever you have
w imię tego, co miałeś.
is that
To
they
oni przynoszą
bring
uszy,
the ears, that it can be
aby
used
można było ich
when the
użyć,
time of the
gdy
Messiah
nadejdzie czas
comes.
Mesjasza.
They can teach the soul and the
Mogę
message
nauczyć duszę i przesłanie,
to oppose.
nie by się
But
przeciwstawiać,
by them
ale poprzez
understanding
ich
through
zrozumienie
those who have
przez
become
tych,
messiahs,
którzy stali się
to give of their
Mesjaszami,
souls to these
aby
two
dawać ze
beings.
swoich dusz, aby ich elewować.
The job is made
Zadanie
easy.
stało się łatwe.
The school is there.
Szkoła
The
jest tutaj
students
i
are
uczniowie są tutaj w
devoted.
oddaniu.
There won't be any
Wtedy nie
fight
będzie żadnej
between
walki
what they call the
między
Muslim
tym, co
and the
nazywają
Christians.
muzułmanami a
The
chrześcijanami.
lamb and the lion
Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe.
The Christians and the
Chrześcijanie i
Muslims
muzułmanie
will sleep
będą
and pray
spać
in
i
the
modlić
mosque
się w meczecie,
and the same
w tym samym
church
kościele,
in the name of
w
their
imię ich
souls,
dusz,
not in the
nie w
name
imię
of
religii,
that is used
które
to
są
create so
używane do
much
tworzenia
conflict
tak wielu konfliktów,
for the benefit
dla
of
korzyści
those
tych,
who were
którzy
the
byli
hyperactive
hiperaktywnymi dziećmi.
children. The time has come.
Nadszedł
The time
czas,
of change is
czas
here.
zmian jest tutaj.
And as I said,
I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem.
if it's your wish
Jeśli
to
pragniesz
see
ujrzeć
this,
pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie.
it's the soul
To dusza
of
świadomości
collective
zbiorowej.
awareness by
Poprzez
giving
dawanie
or
stworzy
create
tą
that
pozycję
position of
zmiany.
change. No,
Nic innego.
there is no
W duszy
pen
człowieka
in the
nie ma
soul of the
długopisu.
man. And I'm
Jestem
sure
pewien,
once
że
you
po
go
wejściu
into
do
the
społeczności uniwersalnej
you will
nigdy nie
never see
zobaczysz
anything
niczego
written,
zapisanego,
but
ale
balance
równowagę
it
pól
in
duszy
the soul of the
egzystencji.
existence. Try to be humble
Staraj
enough
się być na tyle pokornym,
not to become
aby
arrogant
nie stać się
in the
aroganckim w
power
mocy,
that you have understood and
którą
you
zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś.
otherwise you'll fall
Inaczej
in the same
wpadniesz w tą
path
samą
of the
ścieżkę
church.
kościoła i meczetu.
This
To
is
jest to, co
what we
obiecaliśmy
promised.
i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy.
This is what we have delivered.
Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.